Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Dream Team webinar, where we strive to answer every question to the best of our knowledge in any topic that is relevant. Before wasting time, we're going to hand it over to Dr. D to play our signature tune, then we will dip into our topic for today. Over to you, Dr. Derek.
next stop is on passive.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
To win it. And the next stop is on passive. Thank you, Dr. Derek. That is very, very inspirational. I know people did not come to hear my voice making unusual noise. So I'm going to pass it over to the team that will have this run smoothly so we can learn something. Now, while we are waiting, it's good to keep our mind active and educate ourselves. Over to you, Queen Mama McCormick. That's my sister, and that's how I called her. Over to you, Queen Mama McCormick.
Thank you so much, everyone. Hello, beautiful ladies, beautiful souls, those who are seen and unseen, they're behind having coffee or tea. Greetings to everyone. Thank you, Sister P, and thank you to those who did the welcoming and for those who were supporting in every way for us to start this morning. We are blessed and thankful to you for the blessings of the weekend. And we're moving to my beautiful sister. We were blessed not just with her presence, but her lovely angelic voice, which we just listened to. And that was just awesome because the images with their faces, and then in the end, Dr. Derek's voice. Did you all hear that? Yes, that was outstanding. So we are going to be in the right place, the right frame of mind. And the one person who is going to do that for us is our sister Lerato. Germany in the house represented. And she's always smiling when she talks to us. So let's listen to the word from our lovely sister. Thank you, sis. And keep
Hello, my
smiling.
beautiful sis. I'm like, it has to be. We have to smile.
Indeed.
How are you, sis? You good?
Doing awesome. Thank you.
Okay, sis. Okay. It's good to see you. To everybody else, it's good to be here. And yeah, I mean, I will say again, like my sister, beautiful sister, Dr. Benny always says that it's a beautiful day, and it's not by our own power that we can see this day and enjoy it. And yeah, enjoy all these benefits of the day. We have a creator who saw it fit for us to be here in his wisdom and his might. So we have to give him all the glory for that. So, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I just want to just give God all his accolades because he deserves it. And I'm here because of him. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. It's always a pleasure to be here. I just came back from a trip. It was a little bit hectic, but I'm here and I love being here and I made it on time. I'm a little bit worn out, but we're talking about a very interesting topic. And last week, we said that we're just gonna dive in and just, share ideas together because it's always nice to hear what your feedback. I like what you did last week, Sister Kanla. You wanted people to give feedback just to hear other people's perspective about what we discussed, because we can glean from each other and share knowledge and wisdom. So it's very nice. I liked it when you did it last week. So it's just wonderful to be here. I'm sharing my heart when I'm here. I'm not by any means some expert on any topic that I'm talking about, John. I'm not. I didn't dub myself the knowledgeable one. Nope. I'm just sharing my heart. So feel free to challenge me so that also my mind, because I think a lot. I'm somebody that, I reflect a lot. So feel free to challenge what I say. Feel free to ask questions and we can exchange, we sharpen one another. But the topic that we were talking about last week was the power of stillness. And I remember last week I said, being in the perpetual rush and just blazing through everything robs you of your joy and your energy and your life force. And we have normalized just everything being fast paced, from how we cook, from how we do everything. We're in the generation of everything fast, 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 fast. We have microwaves, everything has to be fast. Everything has to be fast. You watch social media, how people live their lives. Everything is fast paced, guys. We are in that era. So being able to be in stillness and quietness and just to pull back, it's actually you have to be very disciplined to be able to do that. Because for most of us who live in the Western world, when you go to other places, when you go back home and you go back to places that are just slow paced, you actually get to appreciate slowing down. It's worth it, guys. Just relaxing and slowing down and enjoying simplicity. Simple things, just enjoying. I remember when I was growing up, most of my grandma's life, there's, my grandmother will gather her friends and they'll be just sitting under the grapevine, you know? And you will be asking yourself, what is under the grapevine that gives them that much tranquility? How can they just enjoy being together and just sitting there and just being under the grapevine? And for them, that was something that was beautiful because they could draw joy out of just sitting there, eating their grapes and just enjoying the fact of their beingness without having to strive for anything. Without having to strive for anything. But, our lives in the Western world are so fast paced. And I also get it because, the Western world has deceived us to believe that we always have to reach for the next thing. You're always reaching. If it's not reaching, it's that thing where you're fighting for survival. Because all of us left our homes, we left our countries, and you came for better life and blah, blah, quality of life. And then you get here, you are just chasing. There's no even rest. I was so shocked, to find out from some people that, after the COVID happened, you look at some countries, people are holding down 3 jobs. And and even in holding those 3 jobs, when you ask them, are you okay? They're still not okay. They're still not okay, guys. And it's sad. And I'm like, when does it end, guys? When do we actually slow down and actually enjoy our life? Where is the joy? Because you lose your joy like that. Your life becomes about just the perpetual chasing, the perpetual going after. You're just chasing in that perpetual state of busyness that takes you nowhere. It's just being busy that takes you nowhere, right? A very good example is, here in Germany on the Autobahn, you have Autobahn, which is you can drive in certain areas, you can drive whatever speed that you want. And you will find some people speeding like unbelievably fast. Like it's crazy. Like some people will be making sure because there's no rule, they want to be on top speed. I sometimes dabble in speed because I've, some acquaintances that have really good cars that can speed. So it's good to enjoy fast cars in their optimum, and push them to their optimum capacity. But, just for fun, but not as something that you do all the time where you're on full speed every day. No, it can't be like that. Sometimes you have to slow down to be able to enjoy what's around you. When you're on full speed, everything just becomes a blur. Have you ever done that where you're speeding and everything just become, those dividing lines on the road? You will see that when you speed, they become just one line. You don't see them as individuals. So you don't have time to observe things and see them clearly. That's the power of stillness. You see, when you slow down, you cultivate a certain way of being able to observe and look at things and look at the quality of things and look at things, and that can also help you to have deeper knowledge and understanding and wisdom, right? And I'm going to quote what I know again. I know the Bible, so I'll quote what I know. There's a verse that always got me, and that verse is, be still and know that I am God. I'm separating it for a purpose. It says, be still and know. Underline know. There's wisdom in stillness. You can't know if you're rushing, guys. You can't cultivate wisdom if you don't have time to wait, to stop and reflect, or time to observe certain things. You can't cultivate wisdom like that. So it says, be still and know. So stillness, there's knowledge. You get wisdom in stillness. You're able to cultivate or draw out wisdom from being still. And then it says, be still and know that I am. For those of us who go deeper or whatever, in terms of, studying certain things, we know that I am, the power of I am is the power of creation. It says that be still and know that I am. I'm going to stop there to say, in order for you to create, you have to slow down and go within. And that wisdom then will start producing certain things. Remember when we spoke about wealth? We're talking about wealth. We're talking about all these things, just attraction, attracting whom we are. We cannot do that if we're fast paced and we don't have time for self-reflection. And we cannot have self-reflection if we're not still. right? So creation comes in stillness, and then you're able to draw the wisdom from being still. It's crazy because, you know, this week I had a few talks with a few people about just life, about how we process things, and, you know, because I always ask questions. And one lady said to me, you know, if we are always fast paced, and if we rush, we bypass wisdom. We bypass our wisdom, and then we end up making wrong decisions. Because I was asking her about, you know, being able to self-regulate, regulating our emotions, being able to be self-aware. And we were also talking about, you know, wealth and wisdom and all these things that we spoken about, and all these things, right? And she was like, if you are going to be in a perpetual rush, you are going to bypass your wisdom. And then you're going to cheat yourself of certain things that you would have gotten, you know, by just being still. And we were just talking about also, you know, our careers and everything. It's like we feel like we have to make decisions fast, 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 fast. Your boss will come to you and say, like, hey, do this and la la la. Decide by tomorrow. It's like there's always ultimatums that don't give you time to go within and ask, is this actually right for me? Am I making the right decision for myself? I'm not talking about overthinking, but I'm talking about taking a moment to self-reflect, because we're always in a state of a rush, rush, rush. Everything has to happen fast, 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 fast. We don't actually sit down and even, you know, make decisions that makes us choose us. We rob ourselves because we don't choose us. If you're rushing, you will rush, and then you're gonna you know, you're gonna fall short. You're gonna shortcharge yourself. You're not gonna choose yourself because you're always, you know, in a rush for the next thing, or you're in a rush to make a decision that's gonna please somebody else. All these things, you know. So you are going to bypass your wisdom and end up shortcharging yourself. So that time of quietness and stillness, even when somebody comes to you and asks you for something, or an immediate decision, and you feel like you can't decide at that point, then don't decide. Tell them, I need a little bit time. Give me an hour. Give me 2 hours. Then you go within. And then if that thing then happens to pass, then it was not yours. It's okay sometimes to just chill, you know, right? Right. So there's power in stillness, guys. There's so much wisdom, and there's so much that we can glean by just being still, right? And cultivating these qualities. I was telling somebody, for me, what helped me a lot also during the time of COVID, you know, when I'm talking about stillness, it was slowing down, because also even in that time everything was so rushed. There were so many things happening. We were so anxious, you know, everything was just rushed, and a lot of people were not taking time to think and question certain things. And what helped me a lot during that time was just meditating. Just take 10 minutes. Meditation doesn't mean you have to do some voodoo. No. Meditation, you can take 10 minutes and go within and just relax and breathe and breathe. And that helped me to regulate myself and regulate my thoughts, and be able to choose and observe my thoughts and choose which ones I want to react, and the thoughts that I don't want to make or to choose permanently. Like that state of anxiety, you know, I was able to sit with myself and said, no, but I don't want to be anxious. I want to choose something else. I want to choose calm. I want to choose just being reassured that life will continue. So I'm not going to be afraid, right? But I wouldn't have done that had I not taken time to slow down and go within and observe my thoughts and check which ones I want to, you know, sit with, which ones I want to accept, which ones I want to sit with. That moment of quietness helped me to choose what was right for me, emotionally, mentally, and physically as well. It helped me because if I'm okay emotionally, then and mentally, then my body is okay, you know. So it's important to do that. And then the other way of just cultivating that stillness, solitude is very powerful, guys. Taking a moment for yourself and choosing you, like I said, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of just self-reflection, of sitting with yourself, getting to know yourself, your thoughts, regulating your thoughts. That's solitude and going within. It's very, very powerful. All these things that we've been talking about over months, and saying, I mean, if we're going to choose to be wealthy people, to be healthy people, to be prosperous people, it means then we have to make choices and decisions. But we can't make those choices if we're not stable, if we're not still, if we're not calm, if we're not in the state of calm. So we cannot choose something that's going to fit us or something that will be beneficial to us. So that moment of solitude where you check and you go within, you self-regulate and check yourself and check your thoughts, check what rhymes with you, what rhymes true to you. It's very important. Like for me now, I made a decision that I don't care what it looks like around me. I don't care what it is. I'm prosperous. So I choose every day thoughts that support that. I choose every day to think in that way. I choose every day to see abundance. But that cannot happen when I'm in a perpetual state of rushing. I'm not even observing my thoughts. I'm in just rushing, anxious. It's not going to happen, guys. They won't be able to cultivate that. It will be just an idea that I come and talk about here, but have no time to reflect and actually implement it in my life. It will be just something that I talk about, but there won't be any implementation. Right. The other statement that I love is still water run deep. You know, there's depth in stillness. There's depth in stillness when you just go within that depth where you're able to dive in deep and seek things out. Like wisdom doesn't come when you're rushing, guys. Wisdom is deep and there's a price to pay for it. That price is stillness. That price means you have to be observant, you have to be aligned. Right? And alignment doesn't come in just when you're just in perpetual state of striving. It doesn't come. Alignment doesn't come like that. So it's very, very important that we check the qualities that we can implement for our lives individually. I mean, not everything works for everybody, but I just mentioned a couple of things that help me to be able to cultivate the qualities of stillness and calmness and self-reflection. For me, I said it's meditation. And I said also it's just solitude, just spending time with yourself and getting to know yourself. I still believe that a lot of people don't even know their own ideas because they never spend time with themselves. There are people who don't even know themselves because they don't spend enough time with themselves and question their thoughts, question their beliefs. Many people don't do that. You don't know yourself. So even when things happen, things are just happening. It feels like life is happening to you, but you don't actually really have you don't intentionally choose certain things in your life or just choose, certain preferences because you don't know yourself. So when you get to sit down and say, did I actually choose to buy that? Why did I buy that car? You bought it because it was a fad. It was something that everybody was doing. You didn't know if it's something that actually suits you, but because everybody was doing it, you felt, oh, it's one of those things, but you don't choose it, right? I'm just making an example with a car. For some people, just because something is happening around, okay, we're part of it. Me too, I'm doing it. But you don't get to know yourself and know your preferences because you don't sit long enough with yourself to actually get to know yourself and become your own friend. You have to be your own friend, guys, and know yourself. You have to know yourself, right? You have to know yourself. So it's important. So the power of stillness is a very deep topic, and I don't think I want to simplify it. It's not something that we can just simplify and just glaze over. I think it's worth us going back with ourselves. If it's something of interest to you, just making your own research and finding out for yourself, what does that power, when we say power in stillness, what does that mean to you and to your own life? And then you can make a decision to say, okay, fine, I choose to go deeper into this. What is it? Right? So we are worth it, guys. We are worth everything that is good in this life. All of it. We are worth love. We are worth everything good in this life. It's not only for a few people. So if you can add quality to your life in certain aspects or add something, some sort of value and actually enjoy your life, you're worth it. You're worth everything good in this life. So yeah, so this topic of stillness and joy, I think it's worth pursuing and worth investigating for all of us. So I'm still going to talk about some other points. I will share with you again my heart next week. For now, I'll just stop here and say, in case somebody didn't tell you that they love you today, just know that I love you so much, guys, and thank you for this opportunity to talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Lerato. Thank you so much. I love the way you started by acknowledging and reminding us of what you did last week, what you shared last week, because sometimes the mind listens, the ear stores it, and then after a couple of days, it disappears, and then new information comes in and erases the previous one. So the reminder is so good and appreciated for those who were not here. Now they know what they missed, and then they can put all of them together. And the power of stillness. Now that's why we all don't talk at the same time, right? Because we will not hear what any other person is saying. And I love it when you talked about to slow down, which when you slow down, you have that solitude that you stay by yourself. And it leads us to health. You're healthy when you do meditate. Then the world can be built by you thinking properly, and then that leads to prosperity. Lord, thank you. If only we can remember these words and practice it every week that you share with us, our prosperity is boundless. We don't have any limits. It's just going to continue. And we will always thank you for your time, the knowledge that you share with us, your thoughts, and we hope to see you again very soon. Right. If anyone has comments for Queen Lerato, that will come during questions and discussions, because this topic of stillness is really something that we need to practice on a regular basis, not just because she's sharing her heart out to us, but because we all need it. Thank you once more for those who just joined. And we're moving on to the next topic of the day, which is going to be presented by our wonderful, awesome, one and only Queen Kanla. Or you can, she prefers Queen Kanla to Rachel, but we know how it goes, right? You wake up this morning, she wants to be Queen Rachel, or Rahel, actually. Rahel is the way Mom used to call her. So the spelling is looking like Rachel, but we like to call her Rahel if you choose to go that route. Otherwise, Kanla is awesome. Thank you so much, sis. She is a wonderful human person because she is a specialist in human resources, and she works with a lot of things that involves us. You want to know anything about your payroll, about how you can deal with the legality or the benefits of being an employee where she is, she's the right person to go to. And with that, she has a lot of background in things that will help us navigate our way, either in our respective homes or in our jobs. For those who are working and not, you might be feeling lost somehow, please listen to her part 3 of unconscious bias. She's been talking about this and she's very passionate about it. And sometimes she gets her audience to be involved. This might be one of those sessions, so please don't go away. And she talks, and she talks. That's how passionate she is. And don't you even dare interfere, because the ideas are flowing, and she loves to continue to share because she feels that if she doesn't share enough, we may miss out on something. So please, notepads and pencils, and listen to our Queen Sister Kanla give us part 3 of unconscious bias. Good morning, sis. Thank you so much for your time. Over to you.
Oh my goodness. Queen Sister Debbie, thank you. That was a wonderful introduction. I am honored and really happy to be doing these presentations. And yeah, it's true. This is something that is dearest to my heart. I love it. I'm passionate, and it's always insightful because there is nothing more that you learn on a daily basis than when you see humans and you see the people you live with and you interact with them, the behaviors and everything. And so, but before getting into our part 3 for unconscious bias today, I just want to take this moment to extend my gratitude, appreciation to all the leaders, Dr. Pat and DrJohn Ajongwen for the platform. Also say thank you to the welcome team. Thank you to our mindset, beautiful queen, angelic voice, Sister Lerato. You nailed it. I don't even know how or where to connect all the points you have mentioned, because somehow it correlates, and not only correlates, but it is like some part of what we were going to discuss today, because we are going to be focusing on the social psychology of unconscious bias, and which is just the second part of what we discussed from part 2, where we talked about the human brain, the mind, who we are, the sources of unconscious bias. I know you talked about a good number of things that we need to do to be still, to know, begins with you, or it begins with you, you meditate, solitude, or you need to dig deeper in order to make your choices. And even when you feel like you are not ready to make those decisions, ask, be open, be willing, and ask that I need more time, instead of just going with it when you know that it's not going to impact you, or it's not going to be something that is going to be you. And guess what? We may not see it at that point in the process of decision making, in the process of being still and knowing whether it's your behavior, whether it's your the decisions you're making at home, with family, at your job site. You don't seem to even understand that it is an intricate part of what makes you who you are, your blueprint, your background, your exposure, your experiences, your diversity, who you are, where you were raised, where you come from. I know we have talked about diversity, inclusion, equity, and now we are into unconscious bias and how both of them go together, or they are connected. But guess what? When we talk of the importance, or we talk of some of the qualities or attributes of being still and know, we don't talk about them in isolation. It embodies all of these things. And so for you to be still and know, you have to know who you are and what is that diversity. You have to know where you come from, your environment, the people you interact with, the behaviors, diversity, inclusion, and then unconscious bias that comes from the mind, which is as a result of how you were raised, who you are. Some you know consciously, some you are not aware. And so we are going to go now deeper and look at the perspective of how these social concepts influences and impact us, and also in a way shape these biases that we are intricately built with. It is part of us. So permit me share my slide, and thank you, Queen Debbie. We are going to do a little bit of interaction, but it's not going to be a lot. So yes, this one is going to be quite interesting, and I want to ask that bear with me as we start. Let me see from here. Please let me know when you see my slide.
We do.
Okay.
Do you want to put it in presentation mode?
Yes, I'm going to do that. Just give me a few seconds. It's still
Sure.
changing. On my second screen, it's still coming up. Okay. All right, switching now to all right. Does that look okay now?
Indeed, yes.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, sister. All right, so I would like us to begin with some refresher points from our last two presentations. So please, if you can remind us of, or tell us as we were talking about reflection. What has been our favorite question for the last two presentations when we talk of unconscious bias? We've been able to begin the topic each time with a question. Does anyone remember? You can put it in the chat or you can say it out. Anyone?
I'm drawing a blank, Queen Kanla, and I don't see anything in the chat.
Okay, all right. So, okay, if we do not remember, all right, maybe, all right, does the word ask not whether you have biases? And we complete that question with,
Yes,
which ones are yours?
yes, yes.
Or the other question is, do you have biases? But that is not the right way to even ask the question. Again, it comes back to which ones are yours? Because now we understand the root of unconscious bias. It comes from our brains, our memory.
But when you ask the question like that, sister, it implies that we all have them. So that doesn't need to be asked.
Exactly.
Right.
So because we bring the awareness, that is what you will commonly hear somebody asking.
Mm-hmm.
So it will not be the appropriate question to ask. But rather, if we continue to, as we educate ourselves, we ask the correct question, it helps us to understand actually that no, it is not that you don't, it is which ones are yours and how
Yes.
how to identify them. And
Correct.
so, okay, that's fine. We did be that part has been answered. And so how can these biases impact you as a social human being? As an individual, in a group, or the society?
I'll take a stab at that, sister.
Yes.
So it's going to shape your worldview, how you see the world,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to shape and measure how you interact with others, right? It
Right.
has to. It has to, because these are assumptions, but we don't even know that we have them. So, of course, they will seep out as we interact with other people.
Thank you, Queen Yvonne. Yep, that is right. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Any other?
I'm looking, sister, but I don't see anything yet, so.
Okay. Then I will go to the next question. But please, if you think of anything you want to say or add, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. The
Absolutely.
third part of this interaction is, can you recognize when any of these bias may be activated or is triggered? Are you able to recognize that? Oh, yes. I'm glad you said, means, have you ever sat still? Let me borrow Sister Lerato's word.
Yes, I know.
Have you ever sat still and think about that?
Yes, because it requires reflection, that stillness, that mindfulness that Sister Lerato was talking about.
And yes, it does take intentionality, right? It's a choice we have to make every day. Each interaction requires that we do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I see where you're going. Yes, you're leading us along there, and I see what you're doing. It's like, yeah, it's true.
Exactly. So if it requires that stillness, therefore it also requires that you know. It requires that you do that reflection. It requires that you are aware not only of yourself, aware of the people around you, aware of the community around you. Because again, social psychology is a concept where we we study humans, behaviors, interactions, relationships, not in a vacuum, but in a system. Not as an independent individual or an independent group. We are all interconnected. And so you see all of the tendencies, the inclinations with one another, or against something or with something. But because we are all in a system, we interact and we depend on each other. So that is what we are going to continue to look further and understand how these are all connected. And then as a reminder or a refresher, we had talked about our brains, where it began. I think if I remember, the funny story is all of us, we are born pure, we are born with love, God's love, but then isn't it interesting, quite interesting, that as we grow older, from a toddler to adolescence to adult, what happens? Why that transformation? What changes? But now we are aware and we know that in the course of that human journey, in the course of that life process or progress, something goes with us, something shapes us, something changes us, and we develop these biases. And every human being has a brain, a human brain. And so always be mindful and think that you have these biases with you. And we left it at the part where we did not discuss a lot of the social psychology. So now we are going into that aspect as individuals, as groups, and the social structures and systems. I know the last time I talked about how other systems, the root of how other systems also help us to develop or to learn some of these unconscious biases that we carry with us. And if you are joining us again today, you have not seen any of the past two presentations, this is a reminder of the different types of unconscious bias. I know sometimes visually you may forget, but when you see them, then it reminds you and you're like, oh, okay, yes, this is what it is. So with that reminder, why is it important that we continue to create the awareness of unconscious bias? I think I may have forgotten something. Okay, that's good. My slide was about to get mixed up, but I think it just adjusted itself. So yes. We already know why. I know each person has an understanding of why. But this time I wanted to share with you from a different perspective where you will be able to watch a video and reflect on it, listen and see what happens. And so bear with me if I may need to get out of the slide and then come back and open the slide, but let us watch this short video.
Describe my political views as the new right. I say that I'm left.
Can you hear the sound quite all right?
I can hear
Yes,
it, but
Queen Kanla, yeah.
yes, but the volume, I'm not sure. Let it play. I don't know about the volume, sister.
Okay.
Feminism today is man-hating. I would describe myself as a feminist, 100%. I don't believe that climate change exists. We're not taking enough action on climate change. I think it's about time these people got off their high horse and started looking for credible problems that actually exist. It's absolutely critical that trans people have their own voice. That's not right. You can't, you're a man, be a man, or you're a female, be a female. Women do need to remember that we need you to have our children. Could I be friends with someone that says a woman's place is in the home? Right, okay, well, I'm an expert at flat packs. If you've any trouble, just watch me. It's that I've got your instructions here. I think so. Let me help you. I can jump up it there. Describe what it is like to be you in 5 adjectives. Okay. Frustrating. Dedicated. Opinionated. Lucky. Ambitious. Offensive. Solemn. I have ups and downs. Strong. I want to say attacked. Misunderstood. Name 3 things you and I have in common. We're both male, we're both confident, and we're both loudly spoken. We know each other better than people who've known each other for 10 minutes should. You seem quite ambitious and positive, and you've got this really got a glow. Do you know what I'm saying? Your aura's pretty cool. I'm sensing, are you from military or something? People have said that, but there is no history. So are you then ex-military? Yeah. If you're ex-military, I'm very proud of you already. Well, so I grew up in a bit of a rough state. I've experienced homelessness. I've known what it's like to have absolutely nothing. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely most grateful just for life. We've only just met, but I think you're the sort of person that would listen to me and we'd have a discussion rather than, oh yeah, you could hang out with, man. Let's go. My chance. You're right, mate. Fitter than I look. Perfect. Oh yeah. There you go. Basically, I thought we just bought a bar. Yeah. Okay. Here, each take a bottle and place it on its corresponding markings on the bar. Attention. Please now stand to watch a short film. Feminism today is definitely an excuse for misandry, man-hating. If somebody said to me that climate change is destroying the world, then I'd say that is total piffle. So transgender, it is very odd. We're not set up to understand or see things like that. I am a daughter, a wife. I am transgender. I feel like the battle for feminism definitely isn't done. The fight is never going to be over, if I'm honest with you.
You now have a choice. You may go, or you can stay and discuss your differences over a beer.
I'm only joking. For a second then. Well, I'm having a drink. I'm having a drink. Yeah. I want to discuss. Beer. Yeah, beer and discuss. Cheers. At the end of the day, mate, I'm reaching out to people, yeah. And, you know, even if you wanted to convince people about your point, the productive thing to do would be to sit down and have a beer. I've been brought up in a way where everything's black and white, but life isn't black and white. Yeah, I'm just me. Yeah, smash the patriarchy. I'll give you my mobile number, you give me yours, and we'll keep in touch. I'd have to tell my girlfriend that I'll be texting another girl. She might get a bit upset with that, but I'll have to get round it. I'll have to tell my girl.
Okay, so I hope we listened. Did we see their reaction after all the assumptions they made about each other at the beginning?
Yeah.
Each person, so right from the get-go, you meet and you are already, you're talking and talking and going, you're making these conclusions, assumptions, and you're judging, and, you know, without even realizing what we need to do.
Yes.
And at the end, we saw every person's reaction after finding out the true identity, the true character, or the personality of the person they were actually interacting with. And the beauty of it is they were willing and open to take the next step forward and not withdraw. So hopefully coming from this also, and not only from my voice, is going to help further to bring our awareness. Also very important in this process is that we need to remind ourselves that the human brain receives about 400 billion bits of information per second, but only 2,000 bits of that information is absorbed. So we are humans and we will always have the limitation. Yes, we can stretch the brain. There will be people that will have, we call them nerds. They will be exceptional, but on an average, that is as best as it can go.
Yes.
And then imagine 400 billion bits of information per second, and all characterized with perceptions, interpretations, your preferences, and then at some point you even do selective attention. How many of us do selective attention sometimes when we are engaged with individuals, with our friends, or even with the community, the activities we do?
Yeah.
Without even realizing it.
True, very true.
But again, at the same time, it is guided by this information and by this awareness. And so if we are conscious, the more we can be, the better it is going to be for us, not only as individual where we are, but also in the society, whether it's your immediate community or whether it's the community at large. Now, from that video, the perceptions, we saw each other, how they came to the realization. Just take a minute and look at this image. We call this the bias iceberg. I'm not sure how many of us know about this, but not that it's something that you engage in communications readily, but this is something that is out there, created, developed as a way of bridging that discomfort that many people may have, for you to understand the bias iceberg. Just imagine, in as much as we continuously talk about unconscious bias, I believe, and I recall at the beginning of part 1, the very first presentation, we had differentiated between conscious bias and unconscious bias. And so this iceberg is literally showing us the ratio, the percentage of what the human mind occupies that is conscious and the ratio that is unconscious. Just imagine. And for many of us who have attended business meetings, there is a general iceberg drawing in business environment where you have many other different things depending on the topic. Mm-hmm. This is similar, but then look at what is submerged down there in blue. Imagine those attitudes, those behaviors that you hold differently from people, groups, that you respond differently as a result of neurological shortcuts. You don't want to be still. You don't want to know. You have withdrawn.
You know, Sister
Looking at it, you can say basically about 10%. 10% of our brains is conscious. I mean, we can say 10% of our brain will be what we'll consider self-awareness, which is the part of the conscious brain, and the majority, the rest is unconscious. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, Sister Yvonne, you were about to say something.
It's stunning when you put the statistic there on the previous slide, but because the brain is wired for efficiency, right? This is why we do that, right? But it doesn't work in human interaction. It can work for, you know, non-human things, like even prehistorically or whatever, when we had to just the fight or flight idea. But it's not going to work when we're trying to collaborate and be in unity and be in harmony, because look at how much we're going to exclude then with the unconscious bias. Look at the greater portion there, you know? So that's the part that I'm seeing that you're saying, because the brain is wired for efficiency, and so it is, and so it should be, but not when you're dealing with one another, not when you're dealing with other human beings. And there is where we have to make the distinction and be, again, with the Sister Lerato's word, be mindful and intentional and choosing. Mm-hmm. It obviously takes work, but if we're going to survive, I'm looking at the overall big picture, if we're going to survive on this planet, as you know, we're going to have to take much more of the unconscious bias out of the equation.
Correct. Yeah. And in the process of the development, the interactions, that is how many more of us in the world can be able to become aware, can be able to be better humans and better individuals, because then, yes, after work, where do you go? At the end of the day, where do you go? So the system the ecosystem, the structures, which we talked about during the last presentation, which starts with the family as a unit, our educational system, our church belief system, our customary system. Each one, you grow in this, and each of them shape you. And they either exposes you to grow and develop more with the conscious bias greater than the unconscious, or more of the unconscious bias greater than the conscious.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So you're right. And then I think it went too fast. Let us do another, a second perspective of the social psychology of unconscious bias. Now, this is a tested and proven scientific experiment that many people take. And it has actually helped so many people to get out of some of those blind spots. Because in a way, unconscious bias, we can say, is your blind spot.
Yes.
And get better. Whether it's at home, whether it's for your personal development within the community or the society at large. And so this is called the implicit association test. Let us watch this video, and also I am excited and curious to hear what the feedback will be.
You may have heard the term implicit bias before, but what is it? Why does it happen? And how does it show up in our lives and world? Implicit biases are essentially thought processes that happen without you even knowing it. Basically, mental shortcuts and judgments that occur in both positive and negative ways, some of which you might not even agree with. These biases stem from very normal mental functioning and exposure to things like the media, news, our education, and any type of experience with others. Think of these experiences as having an invisible effect on how your brain gets wired, something you are unaware of as it happens. This wiring creates mental associations that lead to biases because of the cycle of socialization. Consider this. When you hear peanut butter, your mind likely goes to jelly. Despite peanut butter and jelly being completely independent from one another, we all associate them in this way because we constantly see them represented together. We all have associations like this that we haven't intentionally created. But it's important to understand that not all of our implicit biases are as innocuous as peanut butter and jelly. These biases too often shape the language we use and the ways we interact with others based on race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, and other cultural identities. This cycle of socialization can lead to microaggressions, stereotypes, discrimination, and even violence. These unintended sentiments that are embedded within the cycle socialization are built around a culture of white supremacy that we must continually acknowledge, confront, dismantle, and disrupt to advance the work of racial and social justice. We know that to advance racial and social justice, we must be willing to challenge our implicit bias by confronting the biases in our own lives. Just as our brains have been wired to create these unjust associations, it can also be unwired as you confront and disrupt the process by questioning your assumptions, educating yourself, and taking a stand. At the NEA, we challenge you to stay engaged, dig deeper, and ignite your passion for racial and social justice in our world, communities, and schools.
Awesome. Did we hear the word at the end? Dig deeper.
Yeah.
Yourself. These are all around us because we are a social human being. And we live in a social ecosystem with one another, in communities, within systems. And so whatever we do, while they shape us with the things that are good, they equally unintended shape us with those that come with the unconscious bias that we carry along. And so it is left to us. Dig deeper, reflect, question, make the decision which one you want to stand by. I mean, the peanut butter jelly example, I think that is something that we all recognize, or like we say now in corporate America, where we've been in our workplace or jobs, wherever earning time is 8 hours, you must be there. The educational system is a system that teaches you only to be an employee. How long did it take before the questioning or the development or some other humans started asking, but can I not also become a business owner? Why am I supposed to become only an employee?
Yeah.
And isn't what our CEO, Mr. Ashmofare, is trying to do? Because all of us now, we belong to that financial column where we exchange our hours for money. Without the hours we exchange, because that is our livelihood, we don't have an alternative. Yes, it is good. But how old are some of us now? We are almost at the point of retirement. And why are we only at this time getting to understand that, oh, I am intelligent enough, I am smart enough, I have the resources, or I can look for the resources, I can educate myself, I can be exposed into those networks where I can gradually build myself and become a business owner or earn a livelihood out of the sacrifices and the work of my own hands, and not spend the rest of my life building someone else's legacy.
Yeah.
And then when you go on retirement, guess what? You are as much as left with little or nothing like you started work. So that is just another example, but there are many more. So we can now start thinking of how these unconscious biases sometimes turn to work against us because it limits us. It reduces our potential to be the best versions that we can. And so, I mean, when I saw this data, this data that I on the screen, which is stating that unconscious mind process up to 11 million pieces of information per second. Queen Yvonne, why would you think that would be the case?
Because of, I would think, because of so much exclusion. It's called processing it, but it's not really. It's unconscious. You're just flipping through it. It's like flipping through a book, looking for what you want, right?
Exactly. And again, going back to our mindset for today, when you are under constant rush, pressure, anxiety, everything that we need to do. So guess what? That is what happens. We are only processing the information. And once it gets in, that is it, you're gone. You move to the next, you process, you move to the next.
Yeah.
It is not being absorbed. It is not being internalized.
Yeah.
We don't sit still with it. We don't have enough time to reflect.
Yeah. And again, though, are we being interactive here, sister? I don't want to interrupt your flow.
Yes.
So the last video, it just kind of nailed on what I was saying before. It's okay when, as you said, the harmless idea of the peanut butter sandwich or pizza and beer or whatever you want. Those are minor things.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're dealing with a whole group of people or country or whatever, those metrics will not work. You cannot do that because this is what has brought us to where we are. There's this harmony and this unity, and it's us against them and the echo chambers and all kinds of things that we are now experiencing, right?
Correct. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You nailed it. Because then when many more people are impacted negatively, guess what? It not only remains as bias, but now it moves to negative unconscious bias. It moves to prejudice. It moves to discrimination. And guess what? That is how it keeps on. You start having the halo effect.
Yes.
We remember the halo effect bias?
Yes.
Exactly. And so as it builds up, it adds up to all of this. And then the result is what we are having now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A few section of the society that is telling us that their own beliefs, their own perspective is what everyone else should be.
Mm-hmm.
Is what is right for you and me.
Yeah. It's being inbuilt into the systems as well, not just individual persons, right?
Correct. So without the social structures, the system within the social network, this will not even be realized to the degree that we have it right now.
Mm.
So they are a medium.
Yes.
Of either building it, of either maintaining it or escalating it.
Yeah, because they condone it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we see how the stereotype is shaped and plays right into the behaviors and right into the narratives.
Mm-hmm.
And where does all of that comes from? The stereotype, the behaviors, the narrative, the perspective, the preferences. Again, we go back to our mindset as individuals, as family, as a community, our diversity, how we were brought up, and the system. They are all involved as one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would like to leave you with this quote from Maya Angelou, which I love so much. It's so dear to my heart. Every time I remind myself, ever since I became so passionate about this topic and got my certification. So she says, we are only as blind as we want to be. Let that resonate with each of us.
Yeah.
Because every step of the way in our lives,
Mm-hmm.
at home, at work, in the community, life has a way of teaching us when we least expect. And it comes in the form of challenges, experiences, or some moments of realization. The challenge, what could be the challenge? For someone who has not been exposed to unconscious bias, this will be a challenge, and the reception on their end may not be good. Or maybe their experiences, you suddenly just experience unconscious bias and it's like, has someone ever done something and you just stand and you freeze? Like you're trying to ask your question, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that it is wrong. Whether it's insulting you or whether it's questioning your qualification at work or whether it's undermining your work, at some moment you stand and you are like, what just happened? Those moments will come, but it is up to us to be able to look at that blind spot, yours and the person you are interacting with. And if you are able to identify it, then you're able to be open and be willing and engage in open communication like we saw in the video when it is brought to your attention. The degree to which you are willing to be open and the degree to which you are willing to interact in your social circles with each other will depend on you. But it is always good to be the best and better version of ourselves every day. And there is no other way than doing it by always being curious, excited. And when it is brought to your attention, you take it as a form of opportunity for you to learn and not a judgment or criticism.
Well done.
So this is something that we need to continue working on. There is still a lot of work to do. Me, you, all of us. It's going to be a journey. But that journey, like we say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step.
Amen.
And every step we take each day, every day, one more step, one more day brings us closer to be able to work on our biases, whether it's conscious bias or whether it's unconscious bias. So thank you so much. That is the end of the presentation. I am open now to questions and answers or comments and feedback.
Yes. It's a marvelous presentation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Queen Kanla.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sis.
Good.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Awesome.
That was
Awesome.
beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah. You said it several times that you nailed it, so there's no reason for anyone to overemphasize that. You actually did.
She
And
did.
you did a great interaction with Sister Yvonne. She really complimented you, and your presentation, the topic today is also tied into Sister Lerato's mindset. So it's as if you had a dialogue before preparing for today. We appreciate that very much. Well, I know you've been talking, we've all been talking, all 4 or 5 of us have been talking, and we are 25 of us here. I see Sister Queen Dr. P is her camera is open.
Yeah.
So I will say I'll pause and see she probably has some comments, and then we'll pass over to questions and discussions on both our presenters of the day. Over to you, Sister P.
What comment can I have now? When you have beautiful ladies, powerful brains, and they present, you don't have any comment, you just absorb, listen, and reflect. Absorb, listen, personally listen and reflect. Try to absorb the wisdom, the power that they've shared. That's all I am doing now on this platform. I'm learning a lot, so I do more the absorbing and just listening and reflecting. There's nothing we can do without doing that. You know, I was laughing. I had one encounter, and I was laughing that, thank God, I was doing my proverb reading. I was reading the book of Proverbs. I kid you not, I would have reacted differently. I'm telling you, if I left it for patience as a human being, I would have reacted differently. But thank God for the wisdom from Proverbs, from Solomon.
Yes.
I reflected in that particular situation and kept my unconscious bias, because truly I have an unconscious bias when it comes to this person. When they say anything, I'm already criticizing because of the background. But I have learned some wisdom through some of this presentation, through some of the mind-blowing mindset that between Sister Yvonne, Sister Lerato, Sister Debbie, all of the people that have done mindset on this platform, you know yourself, and on the other platforms, JW, Dr. Tinosha, etc., etc. I will miss some people. I have learned to do things differently. I've learned to absorb and reflect. So I hope I continue working on myself on that, because the old book says, don't be quick to act, right? Slow to anger. That's what our God is gracious because he's slow to anger. So thank you all for impacting us with knowledge. And yes, Sister Dr. Mama McCormick, what we'll do question and discussion on the two topics. And when that is done, we can go off live and take general questions. I think that's how we're going to do it. If you have any reflection, any feedback, anything on the topics, the presentation from the mindset to our presentation today, unconscious bias, part 3. If you have anything that spoke to you, let's do that. And if that is done, we'll go to general questions. Okay, I know some people here. I think one of our sister, was it?
Yes, there's a question there.
Yes. Yeah, had questions.
Yes.
We'll do that off live. We are live on YouTube. There's some questions we'll not do live on YouTube.
Okay, sister.
Let's answer the question reflecting to the topics today, or share.
Yeah.
Or thank the presenter if you want to do that, and then we'll go off YouTube and move to more questions and discussion. Over to you, Queen Sister Mama McCormick.
Thank you, sis. Appreciate you very much on your observation. So we're going to, if there are no hands up.
No, Sister Lerato has her hands raised.
Okay, I was just going to call on her actually.
Okay.
Sis, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say to Sister Kanla, it's amazing. You know, the first video that you played, about the unconscious bias, the way people have polar mindsets or beliefs and everything. It's amazing to me that there's so many things that, like, the peanut butter and jelly example, that there are associations that we make and they contribute to our biases, and we don't even sit and reflect on those because it's just the norm. Right? And the one that stands up to me is the narrative that we see all the time. I mean, on the news or on different things. I remember, especially here in Germany, in terms of when Merkel, what's her name? Merkel got married to Henry.
Yep, Meghan Markle.
Yes, Meghan. And the press, and how the press depicted her and Henry, and how they continuously depict as opposed to his brother and Kate.
Yeah.
They are the royals. It's just wonderful and blissful. And then Merkel, because she's a person of color, the media bias, right, and everything that they associate with her. And here in Germany, they'll have moments where they will put Merkel and other news, and then on the other side, they'll be mentioning crime, or they'll be mentioning something that is associated with, you know, certain biases towards such. I find it very interesting as a matter of, as a way of, you know, programming in a
Yes.
way, right?
Yes.
So it's funny, and we don't see these things. We don't see this as like, it's crazy. Even when you meet people, and because of your conditioning and suggestions that we see every day, when you meet somebody, like for example, I've met people from all over the world and whatnot because of the businesses that I'm in. But you will meet somebody from the Middle East, and before you even get to speak to the person, you're already judging, right? You're already having a certain perception of, or a bias about this person.
Absolutely.
And in all my interactions with everybody that I meet, I mean, most of us want the same things. We want to be seen. We want to be appreciated. We want peace. We want love. We want comfort. We are all humans having an experience here. And most of what we want is the same.
Yes.
But when we start having biases and dehumanizing people and attaching certain things, it's very dangerous, because then we rob ourselves an opportunity to actually meet amazing beings, people that will contribute so mightily or positively in our lives. But we rob ourselves of those experiences because we already concluded that this is who this person is, or this, we associate people with certain things, you know. And the other one that is dangerous right now is the association of just, you know, when you look at India and on social media, what they associate India with, you know, that Indian people and sanitary and la 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 la, and that becomes the stigma, right?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's hard. So when you meet people now, you don't see the person, you see that bias first. You see
Correct.
that thing first before you actually meet the person and get to know the person.
Correct.
Right. So this topic is so important. It's so important because when we remove biases, we can actually get the value, we can get, you know, to meet amazing people, we can get to benefit from each other. So yeah, it's a mind-opening topic. I was just sitting here and just thinking about that. I was like, wow, that's the programming. We need to question everything and question us too. So it's very important. Thank you so much, sis. It's a very, very good topic. And I love the examples that you gave today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sis. You're welcome. You nailed it. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I see Brother Shaggy, your hand is raised.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Great topic. Great conversation. First, I want to give my thumbs up to all those who have spoken. All those who have participated in today's webinar. We really appreciate you. And also, I want to apologize for what happened last Sunday. I did not leave the service till like 6 p.m.
Wow.
And it was seriously a 911. Couldn't even talk about it even after I left there. The wife was looking for me. Everybody was looking for me. Daddy was looking for me. And it was, but to God be the glory, everything worked out.
Thank God.
About the topic, as our sister Lerato was speaking about, you know, how we deny ourselves when this bias comes in. I remember an experience at work. There's this Caucasian that people identify with as, you know, being always being racist. I never believed it. So you had a problem, and he asked me a question, and I said, "Oh, give me the computer name." He used the word. Isn't that stupid? This is the kind of word you don't use in the corporate. He said, "Isn't that stupid? I told you the computer will not allow me to log in. You're asking for the computer name." But I think somebody was around with him and tapped him and said, "What are you talking about? Ask him what to do." So he kept quiet. The other person came and said, "Shaggy, what do I need to do since we can't log in?" I said, "You see that white line? Type dot and backslash." The moment he did, the computer name popped up. So he said, "You see, you're the idiot." I had it all. So, you know, there's this bias that when you talk to people with an accent, with a color, oh, they don't know what they're doing. And when I met with them, he couldn't even look at me. So it's almost an unconscious, I don't know if it's conscious, but for him not to say, oh, what do I need to do to get that name out, since there's no way I'm looking at the blue black screen? Rather than ask, he made a judgment call. Isn't that a stupid question you're asking for the computer name when I can't even log in? Did that person hide and turn around and say, what did you say? Why don't you ask him what to do? So we deny ourselves the knowledge we could have gained if we don't have those biases. And every time he sees me, he just like turn his face down, you know, like tap me to show that each time that, you know, we experience all this. Kanla said, have you experienced it? If you haven't, you will. We experience it all the time. Thank God with one's, I don't know if it's experience. If you raise 5 children, you have experience with P-A-T-I-E-N-C-E, sister patience. Because if you don't, you'll be locked up one of those times when they did something, especially if you are raising kids here. So I have enough patience that I can take it in, and then instead of reacting, you know, you're able to just absorb it, and it becomes a learning moment for the other person who had assumed that, you know, maybe this person doesn't know what they're talking about. So it's this really a great topic that after each webinar, you can reflect and see even where you have reacted before, maybe you should have done better. So it's so good and so enriching that it just prepares us. And think about it, right? This is so great that we have a government today that says scrap it. It must be so great. They don't want to hear it because the truth sometimes is so hard. And if we want to do the evil we want to do, we don't want to hear the truth. But the truth must be spoken. And we will keep speaking the truth to ourselves, you know, and we know the truth always wins. Thank you again, Sister Kanla, for your presentation. Thank you for giving me this minute. God bless. Yes.
Thank you, Brother Shaggy. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback, the comment. I mean, you and Sister Lerato, you just nailed it. You just nailed it. This would be the opportunity, even for those that are not here, to take the time, go back, and you will sit after watching, you will come to the realization of the many different little things around you. Because sometimes the tendency is we may focus on something that is bigger or something that is larger, right? Okay, like the system, how it begins. Yes, you can do the best that you can. You raise a wonderful child, a beautiful son and daughter. They are ready to get out to the world, but guess what? The moment they step out there, how do you think your child comes back home and learns how to beat another child? For what? Because they did not talk to them, or because they don't like the other child, or for some reason that doesn't even make sense. Or when you start seeing your children or your siblings showing some of those behaviors, what do you do? How do you approach them in a timely manner so they don't continue building on that? So usually it's a back and forth between the family unit, the individual, and the social structures, the system. Constantly, unfortunately, both of them will exist in the same ecosystem, one with the other. So we need to always be on top. We need to always walk along, and we need to always be asking those questions. Is this what is right? Is this making me a better human being? Or am I just doing it for someone, or am I just building it for someone? And at the end of it, how does that make you feel? Does it change your life to be someone you did not want to be? Or do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel whole as a human being? Which is the question that, I mean, Queen Lerato keeps asking us at the end of the mindset, or Queen Yvonne. Every time, your actions, your behavior, at the end of it, does it make you feel like a human being, or does it make you feel like someone else out of your body where you don't even realize it because you have lost that component?
You know, are you finished, sister? I was just going to add that to Sister Lorato's point, when she was talking about the national behaviors of some of the media and the outlets and so on, how they report. And then it goes further. It also leads to people losing consciously their identity because they don't want to be identified with a culture that they belong to.
Yes.
That is so devastating. And then, of course, they get labeled as being, you know what happens next. But, you don't talk like this, or you don't, you don't, you know what I'm saying? You start to bury your identity because you don't want to be identified with those people. It is so devastating and so insidious that people have, especially with the global village that we travel back and forth. So you leave. Where people say you should remember where, your roots and where you come from, but some people deliberately, to get along, to get ahead, they bury that. They try everything not to be with them.
Correct.
Because it's them and us. I tell you, we have made such a mess of things. I cannot tell you. I don't know if this question can be asked right here. There's nothing. Dr. Doris is asking, what can we do about this bias issue, please? And she's asking, what is the way forward? But I think you mentioned that. You have to become mindful and aware, educate yourself, and be reflective. We'll ask, especially when you're interacting with people who are not you, you know what I mean, who are not your family, because generally the family, but even in the family, I think as you learn, to the quote that you had earlier, it's actually a long time before Dear Maya Angelou, before it also says in a different way, it says there's none so blind as those who will not see.
Yes.
Because being blind can be a deliberate thing, as with these very, very extremist and entrenched biases, these groups like the KKK and whatever, they don't want to see anything. They don't want to be, you know what I mean? They don't want to be informed. They don't.
Exactly. I mean, that is what I made mention along the presentation about the preference, selective intention.
There you go. There you go.
They choose to exercise, or they choose to live by the conscious bias and then push it onto others to influence them, to change their life's course, to join them in being whoever they intend to be in life. And in that process, you lose who actually you were.
Yes.
But then if you were aware, and if you are open, and if you are learning, and if you surround yourself with people who are also aware of this, who point it out to you, say, no, look at it. This is not what it's supposed to be. This is actually, because being blind to unconscious bias is, in a way, whether you are a bystander, what you just described is someone who decides to become a bystander.
Yes.
But you become a bystander after you already have been convinced and impacted, and you have surrendered, or you have given in. Then you become a bystander.
Correct.
But for you to get out of it, don't just take the word for what they say. If you are listening to a particular news medium where you take your news actively sought other news media to get informed on the same topic.
Yes, yes, yes.
No one person is right.
No, that's right.
And don't let any one person tell you that only this person is right or this medium is right.
Correct. Yeah.
Take 2, 3, read, and then you see who is telling you the truth.
Correct, sister, correct. Correct.
And even in our own interactions, when we go out to the community within your network, we are intelligent and smart enough to know when you have someone around you whom you know doesn't come with you with purity, or doesn't come with you with positive energy, or doesn't come with you with something that correlates with your aspirations, what you do. You get that.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you find yourself multiple times getting into trouble, and then you start asking, but before this relationship or before this friendship, this was not happening. So why are these things happening now? That is your cue.
Yeah, it is. So again, I will ask you, do you have a word for Dr. Doris? What would you like to tell her? She's asking. What did she say? How are we to move forward?
Yes, Dr. Doris, thank you for the question. We move forward by learning from where we are right now. We cannot change the past. We cannot go back and try to clean up what has happened or what you did not know. And again, remember, tell yourself, it is part of us as human beings because it is part of our brain. It is right there mentally, inscribed in everything we do, what we see, what we say, and how we behave. But moving forward, what you see, what you hear, what you how you interact in your relationships, be mindful, be still, ask the question, am I doing this because it is right? Is this the proper approach? Is this correct? And even if you are told to do it right, yes, you do it right. And when you're told to do it, do something wrong, ask the question, is there a better way? Or engage in understanding why you are doing what you're doing, which you actively see that is wrong. For example, I mean, if somebody tells you to really put someone in a situation where you are insensitive to somebody's what is happening right now, because some people are really insensitive. And they'll tell you, I don't care. Will you do that? And why are you doing it? Because it is not you? That is your bias. Where did you learn it from? Somebody taught you that, or you observed it if you were not taught. And so it comes with everything of who we are, our diversity, inclusion, all of that, your background.
Absolutely.
And so, yes, that is how you move forward, and you help others around you also be of the same mindset. Circle yourself with people with whom you can learn better, and that will help you develop that better in you.
Thank you, sister. You challenge assumptions. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. All right. I think that was the question, and the others will have to be dealt with, as Dr. Patient said.
So is it, thank you very much, Queen Yvonne. Thank you, Queen Sister Kanla. Is it okay if we close this segment and then continue? Because
I think that's what
in 15 minutes,
yes.
we have to be in session.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Hello, everyone. We want to appreciate all the YouTube viewers. We want to appreciate those who are here with us live, listening and contributing. We want to appreciate those who join Dream Team and its sister platforms on a regular basis. This is a platform and its sister platforms where you come and you get knowledge, and you are not charged for it. You educate yourself, you empower yourself, and hopefully it's educational on a regular basis, because every Sunday is a different topic and a different speaker. And we just want to also use this opportunity to remind our viewers now and future ones that on Mondays we have Mindset Monday, which is run by Sister Miriam Edwards. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have Deep Dive, Globally Changing Lives with Dr. Derek. And Thursday mornings, we have Singapore, Malaysia, Global. And on Sundays, we have the Dream Team back here again. But on a daily basis, we have the Yvonne duo, and one of them is right here. She's a co-host in those webinars on a daily basis at, I think, 1 p.m., Sister Yvonne?
1 p.m. EDT, yes.
Awesome. So every day you have a handful of webinars to go to for education, and each one has a unique thing that they deal with. So we appreciate you. We thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again on Dream Team next Sunday and all the other sister platforms that have been mentioned. So bye to the YouTube viewers. Thank you, and see you again soon. So this segment, we're going to start with
So let Dr. D just indicate when YouTube is over. Then I'll check to myself. And
right. Thank you.
Dr. Dick, answer animal. Okay, let me go there too, just to double check. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, my dear sister, Mama McCormick. Thank you, all the GMT coordinators. Sister Yvonne, Sister Kanla, Sister Lerato, Dr. Derek, Brother Alfred, Sister Irene, Dr. Benny. I'm afraid I'm going to miss somebody. Sister Rose on YouTube. I should have started this. Brother Shaggy, Dr. John. Oh my goodness.
Brother Shaggy said you missed him. You missed him.
I missed him. I called him. I hope I've not missed anybody. If I have, please forgive me. But we all appreciate our Dream Team leader, Sister Aisha. Support 360.
Oh, Sister Aisha is here today.
Oh, she is? I looked for her 2-3 times. I didn't see her. Anyway.
Maybe, okay. Yeah, maybe the connection. I
connection dropped her, maybe.
Let me see. Yeah, probably she dropped again.
Let me see. I appreciate our Dream Team leader, Sister Aisha. Okay, Dr. D, are we off YouTube? Because YouTube